Hey guys, so today we're going to look at some advanced information about data manipulation, and we're going to check out things called arrays. So, something you can do to data, and this can work with methods, it can work with variables, is we're going to call it a static. So, what does static mean? So, static turns it into a class variable or method. Meaning, if something is changed in one instance, it's changed in all the instances. So if we have this int named q and we make it static, that means if it's changed anywhere, so if we then come down here and do q is equal to 2, then in any instance of q anywhere else, um, like wherever q is manipulated, uh, it is going to be changed in all of those instances. So if we have q in a method somewhere, or we have q declared in our constructor, which we'll get into in the next video, that's going to change that data there. So q is available to anything within this class. So if you use q, its value will be 1. However, if you change it, it will change to that value. Now, local variables are initialized without static, so that's what we've been dealing with so far. And what that means is in one instance, it will not affect any others. So it's basically localized to whatever it's contained within. So another thing is final. So final means it will change, or it won't change, rather. So final basically means that's the final version of it. So final classes, you can call a final class, means it doesn't have a subclass. Final methods can't be overridden, and we'll talk about what overriding is later. And final variables can only be declared once and can't change. And this should say won't. So in this case, we have final int y equals 88. So remember, this can't be changed anywhere ever once we've declared this final int. So you see, well, I declare y equals 100 right below it, and it's giving me an error. Why is that? Because we declared it as final, and then we tried to change it. If we get rid of this, watch, bam, goes back to being perfectly fine. So now let's talk about arrays. So arrays are kind of like advanced ways we can do variables. And what it does is basically instead of storing only one thing of information, we store a bunch of things of information. So this is how we would declare an array. So you do, in this case, we're going to write int with square brackets followed by the name we give it. Or another way you could do it is you could put these square brackets after the name. Then you can declare the size of the array, and you do need to declare the size of the array because if you don't declare a size, it will not work. There are ways to do it where it automatically declares the size of the array for you, so you don't have to declare the size. And that is, if you just declare the elements of an array, it'll automatically create the size of the array. So that's one way you could do it without declaring the size. And you notice here, all we did is we took the same way we did up here where we initialized the array, and you just set equals to new, and then whatever data type you have, followed by square brackets, and you set the size there. Now, what can we do with an array? How does an array exactly work? So, think of an array as a grouping of containers, okay? And each container holds a value of that type. So in this case, we have an array of 10. Okay, so what that means is we have 10 containers, or actually, yeah, 10 containers. And because it's programming, the first container is labeled as 0, so we start with 0, and we can declare what's in that container. So in this array we created called an array, in the first container, we are storing the value 1. Okay, and then in the second container, we're storing the value 2, and so on and so forth. And I have it going up to 7, where we're storing the value of 8. And this is the 8th container because we include 0. You can also initialize an array like this. So this is where you don't declare the size of the array, and instead you just declare what's in the array. So in container 1, we have value 1. container 2 is value 2, container 3 is value 3, and so on and so forth. Um, and you can access those positions. So you can actually say, where you have some code, maybe you want to check out a specific number in your array, you can actually say an array followed by the square brackets and this, and then you just say whatever position you want to check. So say you want to check the first position, you just put 0. Bam. Now it's going to give us an error because we're not doing anything, but yeah, so like this is what you could do. You could also do like 7 or something. But that's how you check the information stored in a position of an array. Now you can also have a thing called a multi-dimensional array. So if you want to think of an array as a line of information, each position storing a different part of values or data or whatever, a multi-dimensional array is like a grid. So you have an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So you have information being stored vertically and horizontally. So it creates like a grid, kind of like this. Um, so to write that, you just do 2 square brackets. And then the information you store, you can declare it however you want, but you would write a thing of curly braces with 2 sets of curly braces inside, followed by a comma in between them. So this array right here is storing this information, and then this one is storing this information. Okay? So when you write it, it's kind of complicated, and I'll understand if you guys don't understand it right now, but we will be going over this again later in another video. So the positions would be like this. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5. Then we have 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. Now, what do these positions do? So what I mean by positions is if we want to call our array, right, and get any positions from our array, we would, if we want to get 1, because we can think of the array like this, by the way. Okay, so the information is stored like this. So this would be 0, 0. This would be 0, 1. This would be 0, 2. This would be 0, 3, 0, 4, etc. And then 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Okay? So, so if we want to print out 1, we do 0, 0. Okay? If we want to print out this 2, we're going to do 0, 1. Because think of it like this. This line is just this set of code. Okay? And then the second array will then go down because we store an additional set of information. So we're basically creating a second line of code. And what that's doing is we're creating these positions. Now you could actually keep going. You could keep adding stuff. And all that's going to do is create more lines going this way, more lines going vertically, okay? And that's just going to increase this data. So it's kind of neat. So the first array is the thing that creates the vertical or the horizontal information, and the second array is the one that, or it's actually vice versa. The first array is the one that creates the horizontal information, and the second one is the one that creates the vertical information. It's kind of neat, and you can do a lot of crazy stuff with it. So I understand, as I said, if you don't understand it right now, we're going to be getting into it a lot later. So hopefully that kind of made sense. And thanks for watching. Make sure to check out my blog and Twitter. Links are in the description below. Thanks.